I think that we all, being New York-based individuals, we saw this phenomenon called West Coast rapping.
No doubt.
We saw this thing happen, and we had to process it, right? So now I would say I have West Coast artists who I love, right? Who I love and make So, but that's what I want to know.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Who's the West Coast artist that we say, hey, yo, I do have a qualifier, right? That I want to ask the captain as to how do we deal with this issue called Tupac?
Ooh,
right?
Pac.
That,
no issue.
Hold on.
I need a specific question.
Here's the question that I'm going to ask about Pac. Is do you consider Pac, who learns to rhyme on the East Coast, who moves to the West Coast, do we consider him a West Coast artist?
I would.
You gotta consider.
I would have to.
You're not the captain. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, you got something to say. But if you're asking me the question, I would consider Pac a West Coast artist in the sense that, does he come from New York? Yeah, when he was little, when he was a kid, did he get his first influences on what hip hop is? Yes. But when he was young, when he became at an impressionable age, he was on the West Coast. He was out in Oakland. He was in the Bay Area. He was with Digital Underground and those guys. And even though you can hear the knowledge of him being from New York in his raps, his style and everything was West Coast influence. Okay. And then when he left the Bay Area to go to LA, he was all West Coast influence. You know, his disdain for the East Coast as far as what went on there, it had nothing to do with his sound or anything. You could tell he was from the East Coast once he totally went with a West Coast narrative and a West Coast kind of, you know what I mean, sound. So I would say I wouldn't consider him an East Coast MC. I think he was influenced early by the East Coast, just like many West Coast hip hop artists were. But I think they have their own sound, and if you had to consider them for one style or the other, I would put him West Coast.
Throw it around.
Now, it's just like that. Just like he went there, his other artists came here.
Yes, indeed.
Guru came here. And did what they
but did they adopt the sensibilities of the place they came to, or did they themselves?
I think he adopted when he got here. He adopted
We're answering KB's question.
We're answering my question. I just wanted clarification on Pac specifically.